ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। One thing is this Advaita philosophy. That means to say there is no second thing, there's only one thing from which everything has come. And that's what is basically the idea of Brahman, which has given rise to various things. Or that's what is Purusha, and the other things are Prakriti. Like that, various expressions are there. And this is what is Advaita philosophy. But at one point of time, we required that kind of Advaita philosophy because that there were several things that were there which look to be independent. They don't have connection with each other. Like, for example, the matter is different from energy, energy is different from space. Like that, it is there. Things were independent, separate, kind of a thing that was there. When the world was with that kind of a view, then Sanatana Dharma, they said that everything comes from the same one principle, which is supposed to be Brahman. I don't know when and how that people started calling it as consciousness, but that's a good idea. Whoever has started that idea of consciousness, but the moment we say consciousness, we have certain idea about this consciousness in our own experience. Because my emphasis always is on the human experience. When I say there is consciousness, it's a human experience. We say that this table doesn't have consciousness or the chair doesn't have consciousness, whereas my dog has consciousness, flowers have consciousness, and we are conscious. These are the things that are there. What is the difference between the object where it is like a table or a chair compared to the idea called as a dog or a plant? When I say conscious, the immediate thing that I recognize is that it grows by itself, a response to the call outside. These are the things that are there. Like I put water, immediately you can see that the plant becomes lively. The sun comes on one side, the plant immediately turns towards the sun, takes the sunlight. So the plant also has that sense within himself to adjust. The same thing happens with the animal, much more. And definitely we have much greater response to the world outside or the call outside. And another thing is that we don't have anything in this creation, at least in our own perception, that there is nothing which is greater than the human being. So therefore, that human being is the highest degree of consciousness, and then animal is less, and then plants become less degree of consciousness. But even the matter also, when you see that, it becomes, if you say that least degree of consciousness, but is made out of consciousness only. Same consciousness, everything has become. So in that sense, that there is one source for everything, which we call it as consciousness. And what is that consciousness, if you look at it? Our own simple experiences that when we see consciousness not there, which we call it as unconscious, to the level where consciousness is there, one thing that we see is that the response will be there. Where the consciousness is there, the response will be there. Where the consciousness is not there, response is not there. The second thing is that the freedom that we can see, where the consciousness is there, there seems to be degree of freedom that is introduced into it, whereas the degree of freedom is not there, where the consciousness is not there. But then everything comes from the consciousness. We say that in what way we can substantiate that everything is from consciousness, in what form consciousness is there. It is in the form of property. That's what I was thinking, that like one property is separated out from the other property so that it becomes like its own nature, and that's what is the way consciousness manifests. Like consciousness manifests like in the form of a quality called as wetting, and that becomes water. The consciousness, all the other things are removed and it confines only burning, and that becomes fire. So the consciousness in the form of burning property in the case of fire, wetting property in the water, or the gravity in the property of the earth. So like this is Panchabhutas have different properties. That's how the consciousness man exists in them. If you start to calling them as consciousness, or the same thing we can call it as Brahman. Brahman manifestation in the form of fire. In the case of burning, in the case of fire. So like that, these are the properties that are there. So one becomes all these things. Now, I said consciousness has a freedom. Now, this freedom is another very important property of freedom. Again and again, we can see the scripture saying that it has a capacity to give up its freedom so that it can become an object of a lesser freedom. Logically, also, if you say that you don't have a freedom to give up the freedom, it's not a freedom. That means I'm restricting its degree of freedom. Who am I to restrict somebody's the consciousness freedom? So therefore, it's not in the form of my saying that, but consciousness has a property by itself to reduce the degree of freedom to become something which is of a lesser freedom, something of a lesser freedom. So that seemed to be the way that the creation takes place. And in Taittiriya Upanishad, it beautifully says that one simple sayekaha, there is one thing, and that became two things. Annavan annado bhavati. One is the fire, one is the hunger, and the other is the food. That food is consumed, and then consumer is hunger. So consumer consumed way that it can be divided. So this division further goes on and on and on. So therefore, this whole creation is nothing but division from that one simple consciousness. It has a freedom to come. And this model also looks very good in our case, in individual case also. Like for example, that there's one mind that is there. It can itself divide it into various senses. The mind can see, mind can hear, mind can smell. All these properties are there for the mind. But mind itself will not smell. Mind itself will not see. Mind has to give up its freedom to become eyes so that the seeing takes place. Gives up itself to become ears so that hearing takes place. Therefore, basically, all these five senses are connected directly with the mind. Their input is to the mind. Or in other words, actually, mind is getting all the input from these centers, which are nothing but the mind's extension of this. And this in itself becomes like that. It's not that there is any external force that is there necessary. It itself becomes. This you can see that in the case of Rudra Chamakastu mantras. Prano yajnana kalpitam, apano yajnana kalpitam, vyano yajnana kalpitam. These are all made out of yajna. But then it comes to the level of yajna. What makes this yajna is a yajno yajnana kalpitam. It has itself to become yajna. It has a property to become yajna. It is not anywhere else. So that means the consciousness itself becomes a lesser consciousness, and that's how the whole manifestation takes place. So very simple, very clear way that we can understand this aspect of it. And now what happens is that here, then why does it happen? There are several theories that people have given, and that comes very handy here. One thing is that this question why itself means that you are giving a reason for it to happen. That means to say that you are restricting its freedom to happen. The moment I say, that means the why, that means there is a cause and an effect. There is a cause and effect connection is there. As long as cause and effect connection is there, it is bound. Consciousness is not bound by any cause and effect connection. There is nothing like cause and effect. There is nothing like the cause. So, and that's what you can see in the case of children. When they just fresh coming from the God, and they just sitting the child, the sitting child just gets up and walks. And you ask the child, why did you walk? Why? This question itself is irrelevant. I walked because I have legs. That's a simple thing. The cause is not there. But we say because. Today, what happens with us is that we are so much caught up with this bondage of cause and effect. Actually, the real freedom is that freedom where the cause and effect connection is gone. And when the cause and effect connection is not there, it looks weird because we want cause and effect. That means I have to do something because that there is something, because something like we do like that. And the same thing that we start attributing the same property even to the consciousness also. Because we do the things, there's a cause and effect. We see the same question we ask even the Brahman also and the consciousness. Why did he create universe? There's no question of why. Why means basically that there is a cause and effect. There is nothing like that. It just happened because it's a capacity to become many. Srishti, it becomes many. So therefore, Advaita becomes Dvaita, or Dvaita means basically a multiple thing. It has its freedom to become. There's no question of any reason for that. Nor it's an idea of fall. Because many times people think that Srishti is a fall. Brahman is something elevated. There is no fall in that. So the idea is not that it's a fall, nor it is some reason for creation. So there are theories which are given to see that how this. One theory that they have given is that there nothing really happened, nothing really created. This is all Maya. Only in appearance that you have this kind of thing. Why is it Maya? Maya because that it is there today, tomorrow it is not there. Somebody was there 10,000 years ago. Today that somebody is not there. Yes, we are also here today. Another 1,000 years later, we are not there. So this is all Maya. Fine, it's all right. You can put some um, point on that. But it's not just giving an explanation of why the creation is taking place, but how to make use of it. We can't make use of it because basically that Maya theory is just that this world is important for us. We are interact very clearly. If it is Maya, then I don't have to worry about it. This is what the theory about Maya. The very beautiful story Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to say that the guru said to the teachers, to the students that, yeah, everything is Maya, this is Maya, that is Maya. Even the world is Maya. The so even the elephant is Maya and all that. And then all the Sishas were going in the forest, and suddenly a rogue elephant came, and everybody ran. The Mahout was saying that, come on, run away from this thing. But one person was saying that, look, no, everything is Maya. That's what our Guru said. So therefore, that even the elephant is also Maya. So he stood there. The elephant came and actually completely smashed him down. They all came in and saved him and said that, what happened? And he blamed the Guru. And he said, but you said everything is Maya. But then look at that elephant, just come. Yeah. And it came and bashed me. But then why did you not hear to the teacher who was there, who was leader who was there, said, get away from this. Even that you should have heard, even though it is Maya, you should have followed that. That means practically this Maya is something which we may not be able to use it that way. That's the reason why maybe it is like an escape. This is Maya philosophy is one thing that they have given. Srishti is something like Maya. But person who says that Srishti is Maya, everything is the same. But when it comes to various objects that is there in the world that he is supposed to do it, he is very rigid about that. He will he will have to he wants the things, he wants to have the things in the way that he wants it. Nothing can be uh, compromised in that. So therefore, that means to say that if it is Maya, if it is not real, then you wouldn't have had that rigidity at all. So that shows that it's only for the sake of intellectually explaining something that you say Maya, but it is not reality. But Vedanta is not just intellectual satisfaction. It is something which is supposed to be experienced. So in my experience, that can I think that I have this experience of one thing about everything, and that is what is Advaita philosophy. In fact, if experientially I feel that everything is the same, Advaita, then who I argue with? Why do I convince anybody else? Because I know it's all nothing but Advaita, Brahman. I am also Brahman, you are also Brahman. So there is no question of convincing anybody. This is what is Avadhuta Sthiti, somebody who is in that Avadhuta. So, whereas the others theories that are there, other ideas are there, essentially to explain about the manifest world. It's not the question of Brahman, it's the question of the manifest Brahman, manifest world. Just as coming from same Brahman. So that is what is the idea that is given in the sutras here. Unfortunately, what happened is that it is not to discard these ideas. These are different ideas which are there around which that we work. That's the only thing. So, in Gaudapada Karika, in the first place, he leaves the Gaudapada Karika. Before that, even you have these changes within you. That's what we have seen. Three different states are there within us. Wakeful, dream, and deep sleep state we have seen in the Upanishad. So these three states are happening within us. Now there is a Purusha, there is an individual who is experiencing that. Wakeful state is experienced by wakeful person. Dream state experienced by dream person. And sleep, deep sleep, is a deep sleep person. Only thing is that all these three are not anywhere from outside. They are all from me. So this is one thing is very clear. So he says the what is that which makes these three things? He says in the sutra he gives, third sutra. Third sutra he gives, Vishwo histula bhuk tyaktam taijasa pravivikta bhuku ananda bhuktatha prajnaha trida bhogam nibhodaya. So these three things that we see, Vishwohi Sulabhuk Anyata. So that means Anyam. Stula, gross world, is what the Vishwa, that means Vishwa aspect of us, Vaishwanar aspect of us, Stula Bhuku. That means, say, we involve in the gross world outside. Taijasaha Pravivikta Bhuku. Vivikta is outside, Pravivikta is behind it. So Vivikta is what is the clarity outside. Pravivikta is the sleep, a dream. So this is a different experience that we have in the dream, but then we have the same experience of various things that are there. We have seen that. That's what is Taijasaha, Tejo Matra, and it's your own. You throw the light, you push the light, and then do experience that. And Ananda Bhuktatha Prajnaha. Now, in the Prajna Sthiti, that means only Prajna alone is there. That's why it is called as Prajna. Prajna alone is there. That means basically that in the normal course of time, what we have is we have Prajna and also somebody who is experiencing that Prajna. That means the observer is there. Apart from the Prajna, the observer also is there. That's why we have an experience. Prajna is there. But at the same time, that I know that I'm experiencing this. These two aspects is there. Only thing is in Anandabhuk Tatha Prajna. So in Prajna, there it's only Ananda experience is there, but it become purely Prajna. It does not have anything else like a witness that is there, but his experiencer that is there. And Chita Bhogam Nibhodataha. The these are the three experiences that we have. But it is individual's experience. Individual experience, one thing is that only the wakeful state experience belongs to the Vishwa, and that's what is totally gross. And that gross, you do anything instrumentation with that, it still remains as gross. There is nothing subtle about it. So that's why Sthula Bhuku. That's what is. Now, what happens in the first sutra, he says that Vishwo is Stulabhu, Anyat, Taijasaha, Praviviktabhu, and Anandabhuka Tatha Pragya, Trida Bhoga, Nibhodataha. These three different experiences that we have. But apart from that, he also says the second sutra, which is important. He says, Stulam Tarpayate Vishwa. Now, this Tarpana, that means, we have this idea of Tarpana. We offer the Tarpana. Tarpana, actually, we nourish somebody, that's what is Tarpana. Like, for example, the people who are departed, we offer the Tarpana for them. And we go to the Punyakshetra to give Tarpana for that. This Tarpana is that we feed them, we offer them, we nourish them. This is the concept that we have. So here, Stula Tarpayate Vishwa. Vishwa is the thing which is supposed to be satisfied by Stula. Whatever that is there in the Vishwa, nothing else will satisfy other than the Stula. Which means basically that I'm hungry. The Stula food is supposed to be there so that I can take my hunger. I want to listen to the music. A Stula music will help me. It gives satisfaction. That means I'm satisfied. I offer that. So that is what in the first sutras I said that it is not just only that we experience, but the whole world is offered to you. See that you get benefited by that. You get nourishment. This nourishment is given here in the form of tarpayate. So sthulam hi tarpayate vishwam praviktam tu taijasaha. So that means to say the inner world is tarpayate. That means to say satisfied by the taijasa is satisfied by the inner world. That means there are so many things which are desires in the inner world that we have in our memory, in our vasanas and all that. That is taken care of in the form of tejasa. So sukshma, praviviktam tu tejasa. And ananda itself is the tarpayate. That means to say ananda is the one which gives us the nourishment. Tatha prajnam, tatha truptim nibodhataha. The whole idea is trupti. Trupti is something which is very important. So tritha prajnam, tritha truptim nibodhataha. So it's only that trupti is satisfied. That means if you did not have the deep sleep state, that means ananda is not there, then you will not feel that trupti that is necessary. Or everything else may be there, but if you do not have sleep, then there is no question of trupti at all. All the objects may be there, everything itchiness is there. But if the sleep is not there, then you do not get that trupti within you. The deep sleep state where you are purely with the sense of ananda. I was giving the seminar in Germany, in 19, I don't know, what is it? When they were 9/11 has taken place in America. At that time, after that, 6 months later, that I was in Germany giving a seminar. One of the ladies attended the seminar. She came next morning. Said, first time after 9/11, I slept today comfortably. That means the mind was so agitated, she could not even relax to go to sleep. Whereas yoga has given her the tool to relax, that she could really sleep. She said, I'm so thankful because I could sleep first time after so many days. I said, what happened? They said, after 9/11, we were so much in fear, anything might happen to the world. So therefore that I could not sleep. I never thought that 9/11 had that a big impact on somebody. But you look at importance of it. Ananda bhaku tatha prajna and tritha truptim nibodhataha. So three types of trupti that we need to have it. Gross trupti is necessary, subtle trupti is also necessary, and the deep sleep, ananda trupti, is also necessary. All these three things are given by these three states, these three experiences that we have. So for that reason that all these three states are important for us, wakeful, dream, and sleep. Trishu dhamasu yad bhojyam bhokta yajya prakirtita. Vedai tudubhayastastu nabhungtano na lipyate. Trishu dhamasu yad bhojyam bhokta yascha prakirtitaha. Now, let me go back to that idea what I said in Taittiriya Upanishad. I said Annavan, Annadapa, the food and the hunger. When you put these two things, that's what is the satisfaction that you get. The same thing in these Trishu Dhamasu, in all these three different states, Bhojyam Bhokta. That means to say what is nourished and one who nourishes. Bhojya, Bhojyam, and Bhokta. Both these things, Yascha Prakirtitaha. Unless until these two are divided, then you cannot have this kind of satisfaction. Vedaitadabhayam yastu nabhungtano na lipyate. So, one who understands this clearly, ubhayam, that means very clearly that it is the bhojyam and bhokta. And when they put them together, that's what is the satisfaction that you get. Such a person will neither be attached to hunger nor attached to the food, neither attached to the dream nor attached to the satisfaction in the dream, neither attached to the ananda, and the one who experiences ananda is free from both these things. Attachment comes because that we do not realize the satisfaction out of it. The moment that you realize that satisfaction, then you don't go ahead. You don't get attached to it. You'll be free from that. Anything for that matter, if you are holding on to the satisfaction or do an activity from the plane of satisfaction, which is supposed to be Brahmic quality, is supposed to be consciousness itself, then the object will not catch you. And this you can see in the case of very instantly in the case of animals. When they're hungry, they eat food, otherwise they don't eat food. When they're tired, they sleep. Even if in the forest that they don't have any agenda to do, but then they're just happy. They play around, they do all kinds of things. They don't excess themselves. So they are completely free from any attachment. They will not have any attachment from that. So that's what it says when you have these three things as Trishudhamishu yad bhojyam bhokta yascha prakirtitah. Once you realize that Vedai tudabhyam yastu nabhungtano nalabhyate. Nothing will really attach him. Our attachment is all because that we feel we are not satisfied. The food is given and then we are not satisfied. A person came to a Swamiji and said that, look, I don't get sleep at all. My sleep is so disturbed and all those things. Can you give a small sign? Can you give some? I'm not interested in all this Vedanta teaching, this and that. I only want one thing, that is I could sleep well. I should sleep well. So give me a small little hint. Give me some simple practice so that I can sleep. I said, okay, you do some kind of meditation, you prescribe some agenda of meditation, that you do it so that you can sleep. That person went away. A month later, he comes back to the Swamiji. And Swamiji said, how is your sleep? Yeah, now I sleep very well, but nothing else happened. And you came for the sake of sleep. If sleep is there, everything is all right. But you see that now you can sleep well, but in spite of it, you are not satisfied. Dissatisfactions. That means to say that now something else is given, again that also you will have it, and dissatisfaction continues. This is what happens with the world outside, because that though the objects are there, though the satisfaction is there, everything is there, but we don't look at the satisfaction. We run for the new object, newer object. This continues for us. So therefore, that all that what you need to do is to hold on to satisfaction from that you do it. Unfortunately, the modern science has a view that if you are satisfied, then you will not progress. Man progresses because that he is dissatisfied. Actually, that's not the way Indian philosophy looks at it. Man progresses because an ability to progress. It's not because that he is dissatisfied. And they give the theories also like that. For example, an animal tries to reach the top of the branch for the leaves, and then it was so tall, tried to stretch at the neck and all that, and finally That's how giraffe is born. Long neck because they could. Why there was no grass on the ground? Grass was there on the ground, but ability to stretch a leg, ability to whatever that is there, that species has an ability. That's how a species has become. Not that everything became a giraffe. Giraffe also there, but the other animals also there who are grazing on the ground. So that means basically that this theory that it is negativity which brings about the progress, desire that brings about, does not found reality in that. We are satisfied. Ability is there that manifests. Man has a tremendous amount of ability can do. And that's how man has been continuously progressing to see that how the things are developed. Uh, Now, how the Srishti takes place, how the creation takes place, it comes from the Prana. So, in fact, it's a very, uh, in fact, in the Prashnopanishad, it gives an idea saying that sun has become the Prana. Raireva Chandrama, and then Chandrama is the Rai, and then Surya has become Prana. And it is the prana which is responsible. Rai is like for Rai is object, and then prana is the sunlight. In fact, you see that the moon shines. Moon doesn't have any shine by itself. It is the sun's light falls on the moon, it shines. Adityo havai pranaha. That's what Taitara Prashna Upanishad. Aditya is supposed to be the sun. Itself is prana. And Raireva Chandramaha. Chandrama is the matter. And the energy that is there inside the matter, energy like the prana, and that's what is basically the Aditya. So, therefore, the Srishti comes from that Aditya. Srishti comes from that particular prana. That's why Prabhava Sarva Bhavanam Satamit Vinishchayaha. So, Sat is the one which is there in everything. And because of that only that the object comes. But unfortunately, what happens, we don't perceive that. Like the simple thing is that you are talking. It's not because that you have a mouth that you can talk, but behind the mouth that there is energy, there's a whole lot of science that is there behind it. And that's what is making me to talk, making you to listen. Ears are not hearing. Behind the ears that there is personality that is there. Sat, and that's what is their idea. That Sat itself is a prana. So, Prabhava Sarva Bhavanam Satamiti Vinishchayaha. Absolutely no doubt about it. It is the Sat which is there behind it, Vinishchitaha. Undoubtedly, Sarvam Janayati Prana Tejom Shim Purusha Pratak. So, this variety takes place because this differentiation happens at the level of prana, and various activities happen in the case of various individuals are created. So it is the Purusha, it is the Prana, which is responsible for every creation, everything that is created that is there. And because this consciousness becomes variety, like the way that sunlight becomes various different rays that are there from the sun. Like that, various different rays are there, the human being. Anyway, this is what is the poetic way of expressing that everything comes from the same universe. So now the commentator says that in the seventh sutra, Srishti Chintakaha, these are the people who said that there are different explanations that they are given for creation. You know how the creation has taken place. So there are one who have a thought process whose idea is how the creation takes place is Srishti Chintakaha. These are the Chintaka people. These are the people who thought that it is Srishti is created by Brahman. The second kind of people, second argument that is, first is this Srishti Chintakaha. The second one is Bhoga Chintakaha. Bhoga Chintaka is the second one. That means the creation has taken place for the sake of Bhoga. Bhoga is the core around which the creation has taken place. Srishti is the core around it the creation is taken place. And the third is the Krida Chintakaha. That means to say play. The creation has taken place because of the play. And the last one is the idea saying that the Kala Chintakaha. It's a very beautiful thought. There's four different ways that our ancient people have thought how the creation, how that consciousness or the Brahman one has become many. It has the freedom to become many, but this many it has become through these various means and processes. And the first process is Srishti Chintaka. So Srishti Chintaka is that Srishti is that it becomes creation. And the creation has an object, a subject. That means the subject interact with the object, and this interaction is possible. So this, in order to create this interaction, that's what is the Srishti Chintakaha. The moment that, unless until there are two, the interaction does not take place, interplay does not take place. Once the interplay takes place, then the variety of interplay. Somewhere it is one way, and in some places in the another way, third way, fourth way. Like the different ways it can take up. Big Bang is one way, and slowly development is another way. Like for example, there are two different ways that the creation takes place or the merger takes place. And that's what Patanjali's idea. He says that Bhagavad Gita also says, Krishna and Yoga Vasishtha also says, Dokramo Chittanashaya. There are two methods by which you do. One is the method of yoga and the other is jnana. So the Srishti has taken place these two ways. One is the yoga and the other is the jnana. But the interaction has to take place. So this is what is the way Srishti Chintakaha. They are the people who thought that the creation has taken place because of these interaction has to take place. Unless until that there are two or many, interaction will not take place. So therefore, Srishti Chintakaha, Vibhakti Vibhuti is something which is division. Srishti Chintakaha, division has taken place. Vibhutim prasamam tyanye manyante srishti chintakaha. Srishti chintakaha say that vibhutim, that means to say this whole multiplicity has come. This is what in the case of Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, vibhuti yoga. And then in Patanjali also says vibhuti pada. That means they also said that this multiplicity has taken place, vibhutim. Prasavanti anye, that means its creation has taken place. Manyante srishti chintakaha. Different things have become so that Srishti Chintaka said that the interaction takes place. When they say that two, it divided into two, interaction takes place, the way that I look at it is not that one opposite to the other, one complementary to the other. Like the way that if you take one piece of metal, you see that immediately that North Pole and South Pole are divided on that, on magnet. And normally we say that poles apart. Actually, you look at that magnet. In the magnet, the poles are not apart, they are together. North Pole and South Pole are together. Not only they are together, you cut them into pieces, into another piece. Again, there in that small piece, North Pole and South Pole are set. So these two are not separate. These two are complementary to each other. This is what is the idea of Srishti Chintakaha. It is not to deny the Srishti Chintakaha, but unfortunately the translator here gives it as it is rejecting the Srishti Chintaka because they are not the Param. They are not Brahman, fine, but they are not the part of unmanifest Brahman, but they are part of the manifest Brahman. Give a respect to the manifest Brahman. And what is the way that respect is given? It's Srishti Chintaka have given this idea that is become two so that interaction takes place between them, balance, harmony takes place between them. North Pole and South Pole, harmony between them. In fact, when you say both the husband and wife, the North Pole and South Pole, I always say that you should live comfortably then. Not that fighting with each other, but the very feeling people have is that therefore that we should fight. It's not a question of fighting. It's a question of you taking care of one such area, I take care of another area. This way, togetherness is the one what is meant by Srishti Chintakaha. Idea is that harmony. So, the whole Srishti is because that interaction takes place Interaction has variety. Unless until that the hunger is there, food will not come into the hunger. Hunger is not bad. Hunger is a requirement for the food to manifest itself. Interaction takes place. So therefore, it is not to kill the hunger. It's not to see that subserve the hunger that we give the food. But give the food only for the sake of you get the satisfaction out of it. So Srishti Chintaka ideas are there to see that Vibhutim prasumtanye manyante Srishti Chintakaha. Vibhuti, multiplication has taken place because that this multiplication interacts with each other so that you feel continuous satisfaction. What is Brahman is that where there is no action at all. Where is the question of interaction? Action and interaction comes only in the creation. So therefore, one is called as unmanifest Brahman, and the other is a manifest Brahman. One is the Brahman, Parabrahma, other is the Karya Brahma, from which that the Karya Brahma is created. This is what is the idea. Swapna Maya Sarupeti Shrishye Sanye Vikalpitaha. And Swapna Maya Sarupeti. In fact, in these things, basically, what he gives the argument is that it is Maya, it is Swapna. Now, both these things are Swapna. Yes, we can agree with that. Like, for example, wakeful state and the dream state, both of them are dream. In this sense, that one is a shorter dream, another is a longer dream. Somebody has a dream for 80 years, and that's what we live. Another has a dream for 8 minutes. That's what is a small dream. So what is the difference between these two? It's only time gap. That's all. Other than that, both of them are Swapna. And Maya, yes, it appears. In appearance, it is there. Dream also that you see. Like that's the same way the wakeful state also that you see. Once we understand this in the wakeful state in this way, it gives such a great satisfaction with us that as long as I'm here, as long as that I'm interacting, this is real. And I interact with that, I care for this, but the moment I know very well that I don't have to hold on to this thing permanently. So, Swapna Maya Sarupeti Shrishtiranye Vikalpitaha. So, this Anyatva, Vikalpana, takes place from the one single Brahman that is there. From that, the creation has taken place. So, that means to say, it's not anybody else's choice. The Brahman himself said, let me become many. Bahusyameti. That's how he became. So, in my view, that this idea of integrating this philosophy of Srishti Chintakaha, that's what is the given idea. The second thing is the Bhoga Chintakaha, is why this separation has come place. An explanation is given, and it says that Ichha Matram Prabho Srishti, Ichha Matram Prabho Srishti, Iti Sushtau Vichin Vinishchita Kalat Prasutim Bhutanam Manyante Kala Chintakaha. The second thing is this Kala Chintakaha. Let's go to that Bhoga Chintakaha later on, because the sutra gives in the 8th sutra Kala Chintakaha. There's another group which is Kala Chintakaha. One thing is that if there is no movement, there is only one thing that is there, then there is no question of time at all. Brahman is there, there is no time. Time itself is not there. Time comes only when the events are there. When the separation from one event to another event, then the time comes, how much time it takes between. And that reckoned as the unit of time. So like that, the whole Kalachittakaha basically is because that they wanted to create this time reckon. That's the reason why they have created this Srishti. The main aspect of the essence of Srishti is supposed to be the Kala, time. So, in fact, it's so very important that somebody could think that Kala is the basic element for the creation itself. In fact, in the other parts of the world, they have never thought about time, whereas we said that essential part of the creation itself is time. Kala Chintakaha. What is that they have done? Then Ichha Matram Prabho Srishtihi. iti srushtav vinishchitaha. Ichha matram, that means desired about. Prabhu srushtihi iti srushtav vinishchitaha kalat prasutim bhutana. Everything he bound within the time frame. That's why it is called as kalachantakaha. From time sense, with the time sense that he created. The time is the one because of which it is created. Now this time is such a beautiful concept that there are mechanically event wise that you can see that there is a time. Like for example, event take place and all that we know that this is the time. But many times what happens is that this event takes place because of the time that is there is always taken place in terms of something where it is not happening. There is something which is not happening, against that something is happening. Like for example, that there is these mm, fireflies that you see in the evening after the rain stops and then these fireflies come. You see that they come in the night and then they grow full everything and then they die in 2 3 hours. That's all. They have never seen the day. For them, there is nothing like day exists. For them, only one thing. That's what is night. They don't even call it as night. It's there. It happens because that there is another factor that is called as you pass through the day and night. Then only the time comes into the picture. You cross that. Same way that when there is movement is happening, behind it there is something which is non-moving. Then only you can perceive the movement. I give a small little example that you're sitting with somebody in the train, seeing them off, and suddenly you see the train is moving, you want to get down because the train is moving. No, no, our train is not moving. Other train is moving, you look at on the platform side. You're still there only. Yes, and movement takes place because of something which is non-moving is there. So therefore, there is continuously movement and non-movement together in one unit. That's how the creation has taken place. This is what it says that Ichha matram prabho srishti vinish kala prasutim bhutanam manyante kala chantakaha. In fact, it gives rise to another beautiful concept that is there any object where non-movement and movement are together, the same object, so that you can follow the movement? There is no other object on this earth where the movement and non-movement are together, except in the case of a wheel. You think of a wheel, the axle is something where it doesn't move. But on top of it, the wheel is moving. Wheel is moving because the axle is there. And unless until and the moment that axle is gone, the wheel will not exist. So therefore, that's something which is moving and non-moving together. If you look at in this creation, that one thing is Brahman, which is non-moving, but the creation is something which is moving. So this can only be there because the concept that we have this wheel, time wheel. The moment you think of a time wheel, again, that you come to the next idea saying that it has to repeat itself. However big the wheel may be, that at one point of time, the wheel comes back to the starting point and then runs. So that's why we have a cyclic kind of an approach in the case of these college and Takaha. Their idea is to see that we have the cyclical way, again repeating itself. We have Kalpa, we have all these things, concept that is there. Day and night itself is something. Night has come, oh, night has come. Anyway, tomorrow again will day come, we can do the activities. Tomorrow I can do some of these things when the day happens. See, that itself shows that you are somebody behind the day and night, changing that's happening. Therefore, you could think of it. That means there is you who is beyond this changing time. So the Kala Chintakaha say that the Srishti is bound by the Kala. Everything here in this Srishti is bound by the Kala, by the time. So therefore, various questions of time that is there in which it goes on. So Kala Prasutim Bhutana, because of the Kala, because of the time, time bound, that's why the Srishti is created, is the Kalachintakaha, their idea. Now the third thing is that Bhogartham Srishtitanye, another group of people said it is Bhogartham. Srishti Anye. It's a lovely concept in the sense that Brahman is supposed to be totally satisfied. Brahman is supremely blissful. But you can't have that experience of bliss unless until you come to the world outside, manifest world. Unmanifest world, there is no experience of that. So one is the state and the other is the experience of that state. Experience of that state of satisfaction, experience of that state of fulfillment, all these things happen in the creation creative world outside. And that's what is basically the way Bhogartham Srishti Tyange. Srishti is created to give you that experience of fullness of Brahman, completeness of Brahman. Upanishad again and again gives this idea so much. That small little happiness that you get in the case of food that you take, food and hunger, when you put them together, you get the happiness. In this whole thing, the highest state of happiness is also nothing but coming and going, two things put together and merge into each other so that it becomes one. And that's what in the Upanishad talks about the sex happiness. Priyastriya parishvakta nabahyam kanchana vedanantaram kanchana. What happens to you? The whole thing merges into one. And that's what is the highest experience of human satisfaction, human happiness that is there in the case of sex. But then it's also short lived. You come to the level, you have that experience, but then you come out of it. So this is how essentially that Bhogartham Srishtityanye. Others think of it that it is this experience for that this creation is given. And multiplication is happened because every time that you come across these two things, happiness comes into the picture. Sex gives happiness to somebody, but the food gives some happiness for somebody. But this is another very interesting thing about the human being is that it's not just only objective things. Abstract things also give happiness to the mankind. Like, for example, gives happiness to somebody who has a look at the way money is there for the sake of your enjoyment. If money is there, I can have a house, money is there, I can eat these things, all those things that are there. For that sake that we created money. Money is just only created by human being. Just to barter. It's like a means to exchange. That's all the simple role of money. But then that itself became so big, so important, that today we have all those things, but we must have bank balance. We must have money. And the whole rat race is for sake of money. When man did not have all this money, all this riches, he seemed to be much more happier. Today we have everything, but we don't have happiness. Because that we have converted that whole thing into only money. Money gives me the satisfaction. Money gives me this. We converted everything into the money, which is an abstract thing. And for the sake of that, we do all kinds of rat race, day in and day out. What happens is even the ordinary simple happiness that we have sacrificed for the sake of the simple idea called as the money. You can see that rich people, they find it difficult to sleep, whereas a poor fellow sleeps comfortably. He doesn't have anything to lose. Rich people find it difficult because basically that they converted everything in terms of money. What do you do with that money? In fact, the very name of money is supposed to be currency. Currency means that should be flowing. But then we stagnate. It's not flowing anymore. That's why we have currency under the bed, in the wall, and in this and that, and all those things that are there. And now, because of that currency only, which is supposed to be meaningless, all these EDs, this, that, and all that, organizations are there to take care of it. How unfortunate that it has become. When I was working as an engineer in the beginning, long time ago in the airport, our my friend contractor, he called me for breakfast to his house. I went to his house early morning, 8 o'clock I was there. 8 o'clock I saw that he was counting the number of $500 bills or 500 rupee bills or something like that, making a bundle and keeping it. I said, wow, how much money that he has got. He's counting all those things and keeping. The moment he saw me, he said, Raghuram ji, chaliye, main aa jata hu, I'll join you. And then 10-15 minutes, he wound up everything and then came there, joined me. And then we are at the dining table. And, posh man, so that wonderful dining table with all inlay work. Central there is a carousel. He and his wife and myself, we three were sitting. And items are there in the carousel. And then I was turning around the carousel and then picking up what all that I require. A vada, a dosa, this thing, and then lower level. Next level, there was this chutney and chutney puri, etc. And next level that there is sambar, etc. And the next level that there was, the oil, and I was picking up all those things. I was hungry young man, and then I saw that he was sitting. He was not picking up anything. I said, "Why don't you also join me for breakfast?" He said, "No, no, you have it. I'm here." "Oh, fine, you please have it." I was feeling embarrassed. I said, "Please have it." When I insisted second time, third time, then his wife said, he cannot take all this dosa idli because he has got cholesterol. He cannot take these things because he has got hypertension or something else. Everything has a reason for that. And then finally, the top of the whole carousel, there's one cup in which all the color tablets are there. He said, "That's for him." I was feeling very sad and I was feeling alone. So I said, "Madam, at least you can join me for breakfast." The madam was very clear, without mincing any words. She said, "I'm sitting here not for breakfast. I'm sitting here to see that my husband does not pick up anything out of that." I said, "Now you see, everything is converted to money, and money is supposed to give you all those things. Now you're away from that." So this is what bhogartham srishti tanye. Bhogartham. Bhoga is something which is important, but we are so caught up in that bhoga that we are not getting if we don't understand that, the creation is there. Nothing find fault with the creation. Don't find fault with the creation. Creation is wonderful. But how you handle it, that's what is important. Kridarthamidachapare. Another group of people, another thinkers say that this world is a krida. It's a very beautiful idea. Kridartham. So, krida is something, it's like a play. Somewhere I read this idea. There are a few people together and then friends, they are evening chit chatting, and suddenly they said, "Okay, let's spend time by playing a game." And then they separated themselves into two parties and then saying that this is North Party and the South Party. There's nothing like that. They were all together, but one is North Party and the other is South Party. And then they played a football. One ball is there, and then they're okay, kidding. And then it goes to somebody else and it shouts at him, said, "Look, he's not your party, he's not our party, he's a different party. Why did you give him?" The fighting is going on, all those things are there. Fine. If you don't have that parties, kridartham, all those things are not possible. So this creation is basically krida in such a way that you spend time, you spend nicely, joyfully. Your skills come out of it. And whose skills it is? It's Brahman's. Brahman's ability manifests in the form of krida. That's how kridartham iti manye. There are people. That means basically take it as just only play. And 3-4 hours you spend playing. Afterwards, you just join together. Now there is no party at all. You're all the same. Next day again you create, and that's a different group of people. It's like the way that you think of it in the dream. You have different members in the dream, and then you sleep and wake up, and again go to sleep, and then now there's a different dream. Different members are there. And then you are playing with the different members in different way. Kridartham. It's a beautiful idea. It's like a play that it is there. The creation is like that. But we take it so seriously. We take it so seriously. What scripture says is that take the life as play. Don't take seriously. But we take the play as serious. Look at the way that cricket match goes on. It's supposed to be krida. Very name itself is krida. But then we can take it so seriously. Our team lost, therefore I break my own TV, I break my own house, I burn my own house. For what reason? For whose sake you are doing it? That means no more krida. It's supposed to be, the whole thing is, now it has become reality. See, we lost it. This is what is the idea. Kridartham. how beautiful it is said. Kridarthamiti chapare, devasvaya prabhavoy aptakamasya kasraha. Aptakamasya, it is for own satisfaction. That devasya eva prabhavoyam aptakamasya kasruha. It is Srishti has created by itself, and this is what is the aptakamasya. It is therefore lila aspect of it. It is come here. In which way it is created? Lila is another very beautiful concept. It is just you create a drama, a situation in that, so that you start playing various roles. It's all playing the roles here. But very clearly it is like that. You are whatever that you are, and this is what is called as that you are playing certain role. And that role is supposed to be what is called as aropita, or it is called. Uh, Another word is there in Sanskrit, let me remember that. See, that means to say mother is a role that is given to you. You are not a mother. Father is a role given to him. You are not a father. In fact, that's why it says that your birthday is different, the father's birthday is different. That means the father and mother same birthday, but individuals have individual birthday. That means individuals before they became father and mother. See, these are the roles to play. And once we understand these are roles to play, then I can play another role. I become somebody else, like become a teacher, or I become a principal, I become a director. It's another role to play. How beautifully Modi said that I am a Pradhan Sevak, that's a role that I play. And tomorrow they say, all right, do something else, I'll do something else, that's all. But I am the same behind it. We are the same behind it. This is what is Leela. The whole creation is nothing but Leela. Various roles are created. And you individuals are there, so you are handling these roles. It's not one role, several roles that we hear. So these are all the different varieties of arguments people bring forward to see that how the creation has taken place. And all these things are to see that finally the creation that is a sthula bhuku, it is supposed to give you that sense of satisfaction in the sthula. You play all the roles, I don't mind it. You understand about all this krida that is there, the play that you go. You are right and I'm wrong. You are that party, you are my party, etc. etc. All those things are there. But at the same time, do you get the joy out of it? Do you get the satisfaction out of it? Trupti, santrupti out of it. That's what we are here for. Because that santrupti is supposed to be Brahman. That satisfaction is supposed to be the Brahman. And you are that Brahman. So this is how the whole creation takes place. Up to this is what is the explanation that Gaudapada has given us. Now, till now, Gaudapada has not touched the concept of what is called as Brahman, consciousness. Now he will come to that. Unfortunately, a lot of these commentators and all, they put forth the first point itself is Brahman. But here, the way that I look at it, Mandukya Upanishad did not bring about the concept of Brahman until now. Now the next one is what is called as Brahman comes. Let's see how the Brahman opens itself. What is the way? You see, now once you understand these things, then you understand what is meant by satisfaction, what is meant by why we are here. And second thing is, from based on that, the idea of what is Brahman defined as, even that comes into understanding. Let's try to look into that. The future classes will see that. We'll stop it here. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You can unmute, and if you have any questions, you can always ask me.
Thank you.
It's so amazing to look at the. Thank you.
Raghuramji, that means like how you said about the book, the experiencing creation as a bhoga, experiencing
Right.
creation as a krida.
Krida, yes.
Four different aspects are there.
Yes.
We experience the life or creation in different ways. Sometimes we may experience it as a bhoga. Sometimes we may experience it as a krida. Is that
Sometimes
right?
the
Or
Christians as Leela.
sometimes as a Leela.
Yes.
So
Right.
is it all right to take it as, okay, this is, I mean, are we manipulating it when we say, when I take it as a Leela sometimes and say, oh, this is the Leela of creation?
Yeah,
Like, many,
you can manipulate. You
it's
can do
okay.
all kinds of manipulation. Only thing is, the end point should be, are you reaching Brahman?
Are you understanding it, right? Because sometimes we see that despite all our efforts or the so-called thing that we think we are in control of, all of that, we still cannot get an answer to a certain
Yeah.
aspect. So at that point, we do assume many times that, oh, this is Leela. There is something
Yes, it's
beyond,
Leela.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Leela is that. Leela is, it has no, see, Leela actually word comes from that which is very light. It has no substance in that. That's what is Leela.
Okay.
So the creation is a Leela. Like for example, this Ram Leela. That's why it is called as Ram Leela. There is no substance in that. See, somebody plays Rama, somebody plays Krishna, I mean Ravan and all that. And then on the stage they do all kinds of things, and then you get into that. And then the fellow goes behind in the green room. Both of them are sitting together and having chai together. Rama and when you go to the green room, you say, "Arey, what's happened to you?" You are firing at him on the stage, but here you are friend. That's like that.
Thank you, Raghuram, because if you understand this concept, then
Yeah.
forming these attachments which we generally form in life, right? When we
Yeah.
say, I am this, I am that, we have this concept, say,
Right.
I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a daughter. We get into those roles so seriously that,
Yeah.
we forget the essence of what we are here for.
Right.
So that's
When
nice.
Mahabharata serial was being, you know, they were this thing, shooting, they were all in Punjab. And then all the actors that they finished shooting, and the evening they came to Batinda, that's a near place. And then they were having their dinner, something like that, in a dhaba. And some people looked at this Puneet Issar, who played the role of Duryodhan.
Okay.
And then immediately said, oh, he is Duryodhan. He is the one who created all that problem to Draupadi. And then the whole villagers came with sticks and all that to beat that Puneet. And these people, the whole of Mahabharata serial people, they had to run into the police station to take the shelter under that.
That's nice, this thing for us. Good understanding. Thank you, Raghuram.
Thank you. Right.